Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is the What Player, and now we're going to see the offer of this beast called the M6A2E1. Basically, I'd say the offer is quite worth it. Why the offer is worth it? You didn't even talk about the tank. I know, but for 25 euros, a tier 8 premium tank, a tier 8 premium tank, it's actually kind of cheap. With 25 euro, it costs like 7,000 gold. So it's particularly cheap. But I can say there is a reason behind it. Uh, Talking a little bit about the tank, the history about this tank, that a lot of players actually hate that tank has been sold because this tank was one of I think the biggest bundle of the beta server. So a lot of players actually don't like when Wargaming keeps selling this tank because yeah, for collectors, maybe it's a great thing, but for people that actually buy the bundle, this sounds like a scam. So I'd like to highlight this because I saw a lot of older players that are kind of upset of this tank. But talking about the tank, is this tank worth it? I know you, 3 to 10 people are here to listen me talking about the tank, and you see, it's kind of cheap from you, kind of cheap. Maybe in the US will cost like $20 or something because the euro is actually a little bit pricey respect to the dollar. And you see that, like, yeah, this tank could be worth it. It's only 25 euros. Uh, I'd say the offer is good, but I'd say depend on. Sorry, I was trying something stupid. Don't don't actually count that because it's something stupid. No. We have to compare. I like to make comparison. I like to make comparison. I don't deny it. I like to make comparison about tanks in general. And as I made with the LC90, I'll make a comparison to with those big giant American tanks or some tanks that have kind of similar playstyle. So I could I like the Defender, but I don't think so because this tank has a 105 millimeter. Yeah, I'm just trying to search some tanks that are similar. I'd kind of say those freeze tanks, but I think for the gun they actually play different. Yeah, maybe this one, but they have the tumor on the upper. Even this one could be very similar playstyle, but I'd say no. Let's make a comparison between these two beasts. Of course, the M6A2E1 actually received a buff of the penetration, so you will penetrate 204 millimeters with your standard shell and 245 with your APCR shell. That's not a lot. That's kinda bad penetration. If with the Chrysler you have better penetration with normal, but you have very good penetration with this premium ammo. So that's it. Uh, Apart of that, the Chrysler has more DPM. M6A2A1 has one of the lowest DPM on the heavy tanks, and actually carries less ammo. So, but and has a less worse accuracy, but a better daily based on this person that this can help you. Worse mobility. Keep attention on the armor. I will come back later on this part, and of course less camo. So, of course, this is less expensive. Uh, So here you see, Chrysler K is better. I will say it's better. I cannot deny it. It's better in every single way, and I let you see even the armor of the Chrysler K. Just to let you see, just to let you know, because I know that I'm quite impartial with the tanks. I don't like to make this highlight. Oh, this is shit. This is good. Buy this one because you can actually buy the M6A2A1 and can still play well even if you don't have the Chrysler K. Because I really don't like such as people creepy ass overpowered tanks. And to come back, of course, we are going to highlight where he is, American Turret Heavy. the M6A2E1, of course. Okay, let's compare these two armor-wise. So, frontally, you'll see, of course, unflammable because, guys, those are the stock guns. Those are their guns. So they will not pen a lot. But I always like to use the FL, this one, because this one has a good gun, honestly. With penetration wise, on the other part, not so great. So as you see, if you're going to not face hugging them, actually those tank have this tank has a very great armor. Honestly, you can actually angle him a lot. This is very similar to the Tiro German VK, but this one you cannot actually angle it. It's the thing that makes this tank frustrating. You know, it has a good armor, like 199, 191 millimeters of armor. So if you actually encounter a tank with a less penetration gun, it's quite impossible to interpen you, honestly. But maybe this one, look at this one, it's actually quite impossible. But if you encounter a tank that has good penetration, this tank is quite paper, honestly. Uh, Here, it isn't the similar thing, but when a tank makes a face hack with him, they can actually really penetrate you well. Uh, Things are quite similar to this one, but this one is actually very tall. Uh, in max, and this spine is very tall. So we can actually put it, I think, like this. Never angle your tank. You see, never angle your tank. Never give your turret. Cheeks, never give your turret. You have to stay straight. Stay straight and use your gun depression. Just to let your enemy know that you have a big armor. With this one, I think it's easy. You actually have to side scrape. That's it. You have to side scrape and angle your tank, You have to side scrape your tank. Just put yourself in a out of bounds position as they will never pen you. Even if you kind of, yeah, that's it. This is how you play the Chrysler. But as you see, with APCR, this tank kind of falls down. It's really bad that this tank is kind of cheap, as you see. It's kind of cheap, 25 euros. It's a cheap for that price. See, let's see other tanks. 35, 38 euros. This one that is crazy. Not worth it for 24. This one 22, 40 euros for the leva. 42. So this tank actually costs like a medium tank. But the armor really falls apart. When you actually load the gold, the armor struggles. The armor really struggles. And even when 250 millimeters of gold, not maybe with 250 millimeters, but when you reach 270 or 280 millimeter with gold, this tank is plastic, guys. This tank becomes plastic. As you see, you even can penetrate me on the gun thread. So so this tank becomes quite fragile against gold. And let's see even with the Tiger 2. This tank is much harder to penetrate. Even if you are angled, the upper plate it's kinda strong, and you have to be really tall to actually penetrate him. But this tank is big too, so don't expect to penetrate him very easily. For the exp, I know for the exp, if you're not going to hold down your straight paper, the only thing that you can do is to make hold down and hide your turret, hide your all. Your hull will become very, very fragile and you will be straight penetrated by gold shell of heavy tanks. The stupid thing that I was doing, I was comparing maybe a T-44 penetration with gold. Yeah, paper made paper. Paper. The paper. Yeah, very fragile. Very fragile. This is the bad thing about this tank because you see, with AP, you say, "Wow, this tank looks strong. It's good armor." This tank is shit. You know, maybe you can withstand some hit shells, but with premium APCR, you're really going to fall down very quickly. Because APCR normalize better, respect hit ammo, so the armor is less. You can even say, yeah, my side armor is good. Not so much. Your rear armor is good. It's quite trash. Yeah, you know, let me grab something maybe that has 70 millimeters of penetration with oh no, no thanks with 70 millimeters of penetration with each shell. Really? Because I didn't want to grab the Bisonte because Bisonte has a very good HE shell. So I want to maybe grab. So yeah, let's try this. A Scorpion G. A Scorpion G can still penetrate your side with HE. My lord, this kind of sucks, you know. 90 millimeters of penetration with the HE. They're gonna penetrate you even with the back. So don't expect your tank to be strong armored. You have to actually stay on the front, but you cannot because when the enemy will load gold, they will straight pan you. That I don't even have to show you a replay from how this tank can badly perform because this tank can perform really good if you encounter like low tiers. You're going to destroy them really quickly. Let me just grab maybe tier 7 heavy tank. Black Prince, no penetration. You cannot pen him with but this thing you can actually do it with a Chrysler. And the Chrysler will substab it even further. You know, heck, take that angle. We frontal, you can't even pen him this shit tank. You can't even pen him. This one, if you actually try to angle yourself like this, uh, don't do it because this is a quite a bad decision. You actually can pen. With this one, you really have to angle like yourself a lot. Maybe enemies shooting here, you have to angle like 45 degree. Only the mouse angles like 45 degree. Only the tank angles like that. So I'm not saying I'm saying the offer is good if you want a tier 8 premium. If you want, you're a collector, you want a tier 8, you have 25 euro, bang! The tier 8 premium, even rare one. So this adds value on your account when you have to sell it or if you want have uh, to have one of the rarest tank. I think this is. Let me just use another site that is tomato.gg. This is kind of new. I don't actually see this a lot, but I think in these 60 days, if you grab heavy tanks, yeah, this is one of the last least played tank, but not because this tank kind of sucks, and that's one of the thing, but because this tank literally is very rare. They are going to sell only this part, but every YouTuber will say this is bad. Me too, because I would actually consider Power Breaker or KV5 on these players. A good thing that this tank has that I didn't say, this tank has preferential matchmaking. You can actually encounter only tier 9, but as you know, of course, because if your armor is that trash, tier 9 just boom, randomly pan you. So, of course, you actually have to encounter only tier 9, maybe. Look at that green, look at that it shell on the, on the mantelet, So, this is why you actually only encounter tier 9 because the tank has shitty armor. So, this tank is actually useful only to bully mediums. Only for that. Only for that. Only for that. Only for that. You see, 250 million. Here actually goes a little hit higher here. I don't know why, but 230 millimeter. You can't even angle it. This tank is even this tank is huge. Look this. Look this side. Look this side, guys. Look this size. It's a Mauer breaker. It's a bigger than a Mauer breaker on the side, and a Mauer breaker isn't known as to be a small tank. But guys, this tank is really one of the least played tank. Of course, Charlemagne is very new. FCM 550T is actually worse than this, and M6A2E1 is least played. But not only because this tank is bad, but because this tank is rare. And BK168, a lot of people talk about that tank. So of course, people are not going to play it. No regular premium. What is it first? The Leva. Loba is no kind of legendary tank. So guys, um, Final statement on this tank. The offer is good if you are like a collector, if you like this tank, if you like collecting tanks, but the offer is bad if you are going to search a tank that is strong or a tank that is actually playable, because this tank is playable only when enemy uh, shoot premium, you shoot random shells, normal shell. Even on that, you can actually be penetrated. And look, you have a cupola, here you have 2029, you have 2029, you have 2031. So, for a tank, for example, for the lava, can be challenging, but not so challenging. Maybe as being a T44, the American, it's kind of rare to this tank, but paper, paper even with normal shell. So this tank is good when enemy actually load standard shell, but when they switch to gold shell, it's not a problem. So uh, I really don't suggest you this tank. First thing all, I have it, I played, and I find this tank very difficult to play. Very difficult to play because the armor isn't good, and really the penetration is bad, the speed is bad, so this tank isn't enjoying. You don't. I never like this tank. This is one of the tank that I think one of the most least played tank on premium, and I play it only because it's the M6, only just to use a rare tank. So I don't suggest this offer. I'm sorry. I know. I really don't like talk bad about tanks, but this tank particularly doesn't have something that shines. Really, I'm one of the YouTuber that tries to encourage people to actually play these tanks, because these tanks are the tanks that are fightable and don't bring such OP tanks on the field. But comparing it with this tank, every single tank I think is better, apart of the 50 FCM 50T. But this tank doesn't offer nothing. It offers only good frontal armor against people with low tier. I can't say anything else. So you buy this tank if you are a collector, if you have low money, and you're searching a tank that packs some armor, but when you see enemy that shoots premium, gone away. You're gonna die so quickly. So, guys, if you enjoyed my video, put a like. If you don't, put a dislike. I will see you in the next video tomorrow to describe another advent calendar offer. See ya.